Armand Diaz and Pepper over here with your forecast for the week of June 24th, 2024. It is the last, what are we so interested in? It is the last week in June of 2024. Take us right up to July 1st. It's an interesting week. I want to put a quick note in for those of you who watch regularly, which is pretty much everybody who watches. I'm not going to be doing a monthly forecast for July. You pick it up on the week. My first weekly forecast for July next week. I'll give a little shout out for the, quick little summary of the month right then and there. And then maybe we'll do a live where we sort of discuss stuff that that is, question and answer type of thing sometime in July. So, well, we'll see about that. Anyway, there's no monthly forecasts, just, for those of you who are so. Anyway, this week, we get off to a pretty nice start. We still have a lot of energy from the moon. It's waning past the full moon, but it's, the energy is pretty strong as we begin the week. We're waning into the last quarter moon, which will be on the, I can give you the date right away, the 28th. That's going to be Friday. That's in Aries. It's an interesting kind of thing. We have the high energy of Aries moon, but it's the last quarter moon. It kind of, it's a waning inward. You know what it would be good for? It would be good for deciding what's got to go, what's got to be wrapped up. It's good for wrapping up business. Okay, but this week in general, it starts out as a pretty good week. A little bit of a break from the Neptunian energy. But not that we need a break from Neptunian energy, to tell you the truth. Neptunian energy is fine. But this week, a little bit more. We're not quite back into the Gemini mode because now we have the Sun and Mercury and Venus. Everybody's over in Cancer. But a little bit more everyday kind of stuff. A little bit less of the Neptunian vibe out there this week. Mercury, very active this week, making nice aspects to Saturn, to partnership asteroid Juno, and also to, Pallas Athene. But, I'm just checking over there. But so the first part of the week, really pretty good for just taking care of business on an ordinary kind of level. It's just, little bit of breathing room, just sort of do what you like to do type of thing. We get that last quarter moon, and then we head into Saturn station to retrograde. Saturn retrogrades on Saturday the 29th, which really gives that Saturn station feel to the 29th to 30th, the 29th to 30th, but especially I think the 28th and 29th. So Friday, Saturday, and a bit of Sunday. So what do we want to say about that? Well, Saturn stations tend to have a bit of a heavy kind of feel to them. They have a lot to do with work and responsibility, generally a time to sort of shoulder the burden and all that, generally speaking. What's a little bit different about this particular Saturn station is it's happening in the very Neptunian sign of Pisces, where Saturn, for like 3 years, Saturn's in Pisces, so it's not like such unusual occurrence. We're right sort of in the midst of this, but Saturn wants you to focus and work and be diligent, but it's in Pisces where trying to get his sea legs, but it's not necessarily the easiest position for him, not necessarily the easiest for you. But the areas he's putting this kind of, you've got to do this, you've got these response, and it's in Pisces, so it's not so great. He wants you to make decisions. That's always a big Saturn station thing, is decisions. And you know what the issue is? We'll talk about this more next week, but the issue is that Saturn is stationing just a few days before Neptune stations on July 2nd. So Saturn is all about seriousness. Even in Pisces, he's trying to keep the ship steady. He's trying to be the keel that'll hold the ship in place, doing his best. And then Neptune comes around and sort of fogs things out. So we're not going to get a lot done at this Saturn station. I would have to say it's worth it to try. put in your effort. The results are not so very important after all. Put in some effort. If Saturn's telling you something's got to get done, you've got a responsibility somewhere. Very likely, though, very likely the responsibility comes in the more emotional realm or even the spiritual realm rather than practical, do stuff physical realm. So kind of keep that in mind. Again, this is very much the end of the week. With that last quarter Aries moon on Friday, and that's just the general feel towards the end of the week is the last quarter moon plus Saturn station. That would again be a real indication of time to let go of things that are weighing you down. It's a time to let go of things that are weighing you down. So keep that in mind as being sort of maybe the better project for the weekend, as opposed to actually trying to accomplish something on another level, which Saturn is kind of asking you to do, but not really the easiest time to do so. But it is a good time to kind of let go of things on an emotional level. It is a good time to do a little bit of spiritual, emotional house cleaning. That is what's going on towards the end. There's a bee flying around in here. I seem distracted. It's because I am. It's not a bee, actually. It's a wasp. It's a big, ugly wasp. And it's got me kind of terrified. So I think I'll wrap this up. All right, I'm back. I'll tell you what happened. There is a gigantic wasp flying around, but there's also a small little fly, and that's what I was hearing, and that was buzzing around. The wasp has a whole different flight pattern than the fly, but I am not going to risk it. Anyway, so this is what we have. This is a quick little recap. At the beginning of the week, good time to take care of everyday stuff. Good time to just, do what's got to be done. Communication is good in any area of life. As we get towards the weekend, the emphasis becomes a little bit more Saturnian, probably a time of letting go of stuff. Try to get a little work done if Saturn is pushing you to do so, but be aware that the chance of accomplishment is it's medium. It's medium. And then Neptune, whatever seems like you got to make a decision, Neptune's going to come around and fog that out in a few days anyway, at the beginning of July. So, provisional is the way to approach this week. Nothing so definite, but it's fine for everyday stuff, but provisional when it comes to anything that's a little bit more substantial. We'll have to see as we go forward in July. We'll probably get a little bit more opportunity for really building on stuff. If really building on stuff is in fact what we want to do, is it what we want to do? I'm not so sure. One more thing about the Saturn station, especially in Pisces, especially with Neptune himself at 29 degrees of Pisces and stationing, very likely there'll be little bugs going around. Probably Saturn stations often correspond to minor sorts of illnesses, waterborne illnesses, perhaps, I guess, in Pisces, or sometimes I wouldn't restrict it to that. It doesn't matter. Probably minor stuff. Neptune stations, on the other hand, tend to correspond to rumors about illnesses. People get all freaked out, and I would think maybe bird flu is going to be the one this time around, where there'll be a sort of spike in concern about it. Doesn't necessarily translate into anything real. Just be aware of that. It's we're not going into lockdown or anything like that, but be aware that that is maybe a little bit of a theme, especially towards the end of the week and into the beginning of next week. All right, you got it? Okay, gotta get out of here before the wasp wakes up.